Hello everyone, welcome to Bookie Cannabis Purification Seminar. So in this seminar, we will give you the introduction about the Bookie Purification Solution for Cannabis industry. Let's start from a demo. Different people see the demo has different views. If a wife see the demo, think about it's Jewel. Oh, it's beautiful. They want it. If a husband see a demo, it's a lot of money, so it's hurt the wallet. If the geologist see the diamond, it's just a stone. And if a chemist see a diamond, they see the element, so it's carbon. Let's back to cannabis. So also, let's see different people. So patients see the cannabis, they see it's a medicine, and smokers see the cannabis, it is happy. And the investment, a businessman see the cannabis, that's profit. And how the chemist see the cannabis stuff. It is a complex matrix, so the cannabis contain many different compounds, including terpenes, cannabinoids, pigments, flavonoids, sugars, fats, wax, lot of stuff. Besides the natural container in the cannabis, that's also contamination in cannabis as well. So it's from environmental, it's from the pollution. We have biological contaminations, agri-chemical contaminations, including pesticides, which is one of the hot topic today, and organic solvents, heavy metals. So let's see a video about one of our customers, how they use Bookie technology in the cannabis industry. All right, it is a Switzerland company to make full spectrum CBD oil. So in the video, we see Bookie roadmap and the chromatography system. So this is a process of cannabis, industry. So grow the plants, harvest the plants, and they use different extraction technology, whatever CO2 solvents extraction, to extract the cannabinoids from plants. and then use the roadmap to remove the solvents, then use the chromatography system we talked about today to separate the different cannabinoids, CBD, THC. Since during the chromatography process, we diluted the sample, so we use the roadmap again to concentrate the sample and make high purity CBD or THC. Also, Buki has some other, instrument like spray dryer, like encapsulator, to, make water soluble powder for further processing. So today's topic is mainly focused on chromatography. So what is chromatography? It's a laboratory technique for the separation of a mixture. So the mixture will dissolve in flow called mobile phase, which carry it through a structure holding another material called the stationary phase. So the various constituents of the mixture travel at a different speed, cause them to separate. So it's based on the polarity of the compound and also based on the polarity of the mobile phase and the stationary phase to use to make the separation happen. The chromatography also has preparative and analytical, two different, just based on the scale. So the purpose for the preparative chromatography is to separate the compound to get a pure sample. And the analytical chromatography is, for smaller amount, and it's for measure the proportion of the analytics in the matrix. The two are not mutually exclusive. So this is the definition of the chromatography from Wikipedia. Then I have a kid story for the chromatography. Just think about it. This is a waterfall, has a river here. We have 3 animals fall in the river, and they hang on the waterfall and keep them not dropping in the water. So that's a rock behind the waterfall. So tiger, rabbit, and the pig hold on the rock and make themselves hold on the waterfall, is not drop. Then that's a rain coming. So the rain is heavier and heavier. So firstly, the rabbit is too weak, so she cannot hold it anymore. So he's dropping the water and goes swimming. Then the next one is the pig. So he is too fat and he's not strong enough to hold longer. So he's followed the rabbit and dropping the water. Then the tiger is the strongest guy, so he lasts for the longest time. But when the rain gets heavier and heavier, he cannot hold anymore. So he's also dropping the water and go swimming. So think about the water, the rain is the mobile phase. The rock behind the waterfall is stationary phase. And the 3 animal is your sample. So based on how strong is the animal and their retention time, their retain on the rock time is different. Strongest animal retain longer time. So think about the sample, think about the stationary phase and the mobile phase, it's same thing. The sample has different polarity. So based on the different polarity, the retention time on the cartridge, we call stationary phase, will be different. So that's the principle how chromatography work to do the separation. So how chromatography used on cannabis extracts has several different applications. We can use it for isolate desired cannabinoids like THC, like CBD, and purify the other stuff like CBC, CBG. So focus on purity, include the purity to 85, 90%. Also, you can separation of undesired components, like remove THC from CBD for medicine use to make THC-free CBD oil. Also enrich the potency of whatever CBD, CBG, CBC. It can also use improve color, clarity of the products for different format. It can use to remove the contaminations such as pesticides. Also, it can use many different ways. The third application is used for edible sample preparation. So before we do the analytical, we do the testing for the edible sample, we can use flash chromatography to prepare the sample to remove the fat, wax, which is affected the final testing result. So that's the system we offer for the cannabis industry. It's called Reveleris X2. So it's the second generation system. It's very compact system. It's benchtop system with a lot of features over here. So a lot of safety feature, has solvent safety alarm, automatically recognize the column, the rack, a large touch screen, waste and vapor sensor. It's very easy to use. So one of our advantage with the system is we have the ERC detector. So the benefit of the ERC detector is it can see no chromophore molecule, no chromophore sample. So in the cannabis sample, mostly we talk about terpenes. So a lot of terpenes is no chromophore. So you cannot detect it, you cannot see it on the UV. But with ERC detector, you can see all the terpenes. And also it allows you to see the impurity. If you want to remove terpenes, you can see the impurity terpenes with the system. And also is reflected to the quantity and give you freedom to use UV absorbing solvents. So this is the specification of the system. Pressure goes to 200 psi, flow rate goes to 200 ml per minute. With both, as I mentioned, we have both UV and the ESD detector integrate. The column is up to 330 attached on the system. But if we use the standard order of the system, we can use up to 3 kilogram cartridges. For the cannabis industry, we deal about 100 gram oil per hour. So this is the software control. So every parameter is in the single interface. So we don't need a switch interface to looking for different parameter. So it's pretty straightforward. Then you can change some of the parameter during the run, and all is touch screen and click and drag. So it's very easy to use. And the good thing is once you build up the method, you can always load the method and use it again and again. So even a basic operator can handle the system. No need like high experienced people. So we offer some scale up options, especially for the cannabis industry. People talk about the larger scale. So the first one is the flow diverting bypass. We use it to connect, extra columns. We have large column standard. We have sampling pump to sample, to pump the sample into the large column. We also offer, empty glass column if customer want to pack in their own column. So this is how the cannabis package looks like. We offer the large column, 1.5 kilo column on the left side. We have the switch valve on top of the column. In the middle, that's the sample pump to pumping the sample. This is the main system. So all the sample will collected by the jars you see on the very right. That's the collection jars. So you see the yellow color is the CBD oil collected in the jars. So this is how the system looks like. Then let's talk about some of the application we did in past few years. Buki has spent a lot of time, manpower to develop application in cannabis area. So cannabinoids is one of the most interest, components, as other people want to extract from the plants. So most people talk about THC and the CBD. So THC is the psychoactive cannabinoids, make people high. CBD is the high potential for medical application. So besides THC, CBD, that's other cannabinoids interesting. The acid format like THCA, CBDA, also other minor cannabinoids like CBG, CBC, CBN, THCV is all people interest. So that one is the medical studies overview for different cannabinoids. You see the blue one is CBD, has a lot of different application on, different things like release pens, like, for cancer, like reduce blood sugar level. But the other minor cannabinoids also has, other treatment for different application. So this is one we did for the flower extractor. We just use the solvent, use the ethanol to extract the flowers, and inject the extractor to the system, and we get the separation. And we collected the THCA fraction. So the THCA fraction, we use the UHPLC to confer the purity. It is 99.7% purity for the THCA. The second one is from the concentrates. It's from like CO2 extraction. So you will see it's high THC product as well. Then we do the separation. So you get THC and the THCA peak. So choose the THC peak, confer by the UHPLC. We got 95% THC on this product. So this one is we did recently. It's a BHO product. On the left, it's the start material. It's BHO. So we separate by THC and the THCA. You see on the top picture is the THCA crystallized, and at the bottom picture is the THC oil. We also did some research on the CBD oil. So buy the CBD from the market, CBD oil from the market to do the separation. We get THCV, CBDA pick, get CBD pick, get CBC pick. So the CBD purity has been improved a lot. Then one of the biggest application is, people want to remove the THC from CBD because in many states THC is still illegal. And also, if you want to make a medicinal CBD oil, the THC must be controlled under 0.3%. So make THC-free CBD is one of the biggest application for the flash chromatography. So you will see that this is the final product that we make for the CBD. Some of the CBD will crystallize as solid, but some will still keep on the oil format. It's because the other components. So if you have a lot of terpenes, since the terpenes can resolve the CBD, so it will keep on oil format. If it's no terpenes, most likely if you get higher purity CBD, it will crystallize. So this is the testing report for this application. On the top one, you will see it is our start material. So it's very typical, CO2 extraction hemp oil. So you can see CBD is about 75% of the weight, and the THC about 3.8, 3.9%. So after the purification, after our system, you will see the CBD purity, the CBD potency increased to about 83%, and the THC is no detectable. So we really make a THC-free CBD oil on this application. So we have a case study. That application actually we work with a lab in Colorado called Extract Labs. So this is the case study from them. So their comment from their CEO, their comment is, the system make their process seamless, so no longer worry about the THC. It's easy or use in the efficiency. Also, they actually offer the service, the purification service for other, other player. So if you have oil, you can send to them. They can make the THC-free CBD oil for you. It's Extract Lab in Colorado. Edible. So we add all the cannabis in the edible to make food, candies, beverages. But this edible need to be testing to see the cannabinoids potency. So before the testing, that's one challenger for the testing, because the edibles is not very much homogenized. Then if you take the sample, maybe sometime you take sample with higher cannabinoids. Maybe some of the sample is lower because it's not really homogenized very well. And also it's including the other compounds like fats, like sugars, will really affect the final result. So we can use the flash chromatography as a sample preparation method before do the testing. So for this case is to a brownie. So we grill the brownie and put in we call solid load cartridges. So the sample is in solid load cartridges. Then we use solvent to wash the cartridges. The solvent will carry all the product into the column. And the cartridge is also refilled with some of the silica. So it's kind of pre-clean of the sample and take off, the fats, the sugars. So with this process, with the column, you can get rid of some of the contaminations and extract the cannabinoids from the edibles. So you will see this case, after the purification, after the Reveleris cleanup, so you get a CBD, THC, CBN pick, and easy for do the HPLC testing. Okay, and so last one we talk about the pesticides. So this is a pesticides list from one of the testing lab. They see frequency from the cannabis samples. So it's a lot of different pesticides. And this one is the pesticides residue tolerance for different states. So with the states has the regulation for the pesticides. So you can see California customer is pretty lucky. So they have the cleanest product in the country. All the tolerance is pretty low. So Oregon, Washington is pretty much same. Massachusetts and Nevada has some of the pesticides regulation, but not all of them. So this list is the most popular pesticides we found in the cannabis, extractor. Like microbutane is really used a lot. Malacin, Cabernet, and Spiritatory is all very popular. So all this is our problem in the cannabis extractor. So remember, we use different chemical properties between the pesticides and the cannabinoids, like boiling point, density, solubility, purity, to do the separation. So pesticides is not a single compound. it's a group of the compounds like I list. There's many different. So normally in one cannabis sample, you will see like 4, 5, or 5, 6 different pesticides we need to deal with. So all these methods like a liquid extraction, like distillation, absorption is all possible methods to clean up the sample to get rid of the pesticides. And we use flash chromatography, which has been proved very efficiency to remove most of the pesticides. But chromatography still have some challenger for those pesticides. The polarity it's close to the cannabinoids, so it will be a challenger to remove. So it will probably request multiple steps or use other method like absorption to do the prickling before the chromatography, but also reduce the recovery of the samples. So there's an article we published in Terpene Testing magazine. So you can find the article about the pesticides remove technology on this link. So this is one of the method, the application we did. So on the left is the sample before we run the chromatography. On the right is the sample after the chromatography, after the cleanup. So you will see. So remember, this is ppb level, so it's very low. It's so 1 ppb is 0.01 ppm. So it's a low level. So but you will see before the run we have high microbutanol, we have high malacerne, we have many different pesticides in the sample. So totally amount is more than 365,000 ppb pesticides. So actually the customer we work with, actually they like spike the pesticides in the sample, so do the testing. So after the flash chromatography, we will see some of the pesticides like microbutanol has been totally removed, so it's not detectable, and some of has been removed significantly to a low level, within the limitation, within the regulation. Even these two like permethrin and spermethrin is kind of difficult to remove on the flash chromatography because the polarity is close to THC, but we still remove significantly, and the number 0.03 ppm and 0.01 ppm actually both is lower than California regulation. So all this sample is clean, is ready to sell. Conclusion for the Bookie Reveleris X2, that system is a very useful tool for the cannabis industry. It can use to enrich final product and remove the contaminations. It also has a lot more application we can research and develop. Like I mentioned before, a lot of people interested on the minor cannabinoids like CBN, CBG, THCV. If we have a good sample, we also can purify this of minor cannabinoids on that system. So it's very powerful. We already sold a lot of systems in the cannabis area. We have experience, and we're willing to work with all of them, all of our users, to develop a method to make them more successful. Thanks for attending this seminar. If you have any problem, please go to www.bookie.com to find the material. Also, you can leave messenger to find a specialist, to find an expert to answer your questions. Thanks for attending. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.